Hey, what is going on, you dead set legends? And welcome to the Ready Bang, the number one arm wrestling show on the planet. I'm your host, the Aussie Arm Wrestler, and of course, look what we have here. There weren't many people in 2025 on their bingo card that said Dave Chaffee would be a world champion. But I can tell you what, when he made the drop to 115 kilos, I was flying the flag and saying Dave could do it. Well, last weekend, our guest has gone out. And I am very happy to say that in 2025, I'm saying, can we all please welcome world champion, easy money, Dave Chaffee. Dave, how are you feeling?
I feel good. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. I'm still a little tired from the trip. I've been back, 3, 4, 5 days, but I'm still, for some reason, this trip was like struggling for me. I'm like really tired, but I feel good. My elbow's a little sore. I got that tough match with a huge presser, so it's a lot of pressure on the elbow. But other than that, I feel good.
I mean, how do you put it? How emotionally draining has it been? Like the amazing thing of becoming a world champion, like I can't imagine what the feelings like, but then like you finally got back there. Like how emotionally draining, how physically draining is it?
Well, it definitely was. It's been quite a journey. I won my first WAF title back in 2010. I won a few of the WL titles over the years, PAL title. But the last couple of years have been a struggle with injuries and stuff like that. So the drop to 115 definitely helped me. Health wise, I feel great. But yeah, it's been an emotional ride for sure. Like to come out on top after all the work, hard work and the injuries I've pulled through and pushed through to finally get back to the top. It's words can't express how I feel, honestly.
Oh, mate, I'll try and get one or two words out of you for it before we say hi to everyone. I tell you, it's been great. With this one, this is probably more a personal question. Was there any stage you're not one? I don't want to say quit or give up, but was there a stage during the topsy turvy, you're not so great super heavyweight record? Was there a moment where you just went, you know what, arm wrestling can go away for 3-4 years? I can't be bothered with all this. Was there any like moments where you were really, really close to it?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of times, where I thought, you getting close, you lose a couple of matches here and there, because for so many years I was, top 5 super heavyweight. I just, for a long time you didn't lose, you're always winning. But when you're on the losing side, you start to, second guess yourself. You think, should I be doing this anymore? Is it time? Yeah, there's been a couple of times over the past few years that I felt that way. Like right before the Vitali match, I was going through some injuries and a couple losses and stuff, but that kind of rejuvenated me for the first Vitali match back in 2022. And then after that match, I got my neck started bothering me more again, and I honestly I think I broke my hand after that match. That one time he smashed my hand against, I couldn't get out of his grip, and I hit the table. My hand was messed up for probably 6, 7, 8 months. It was a really long time before it actually started to feel a little better. I was like practicing not using my hand. I was just pulling in practice just like this rather than using my hand. So it was definitely it was hard for me for quite a few years to deal with the injuries and the thought of like, maybe I can't do this at the top level, anymore, because I was doing it for so long. But I pushed through, and look at me now. Here I am. I dropped to 115 and rejuvenated. I feel great, emotionally, physically. It's awesome. So
Oh, mate, we'll get to all that in a moment. We'll just quickly say hi to everyone in the chat. Houdini Sports, he's up and about that you're on the show. CBLA says Dave should pull whoever Dave wants. Let the champ pick his next match. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the program, because I might have accidentally started a bit of controversy going on there. Roy Baker is hanging out with Yo Aussie. We got Drunk Eddie with some Ready Bang. Dave Simpson doesn't like it when the West pull the West in there. We got Crazy Uncle Jim saying, let's go, Chaffee. We're very excited. Ready Maximum Bang Monday. Easy Money and Aussie. Dung asked me that question a little bit later on. Dung, my man, asked me that later on. Andy is in the back saying g'day to everyone. Quick question from JR. Is Aussie Dave's favorite interviewer?
100%. Absolutely. I respect him. He's had my back, supports me, through and through all the losses. He always rooted for me, and he's in my corner the one time, actually for that first Vitaly match. So absolutely, he's my favorite interviewer. 100%. He does an amazing job as an announcer, everything, interviewer, everything. He's second to none.
Been there for the key to it, JR, is if you truly think they're your friend, then you keep in touch with them when they're not winning.
Absolutely.
Like, I was there at King of the Table, and it's the greatest arm wrestling match in history. But I was also there at Knuckles Up with the rise of Kamil Jablonski.
Yeah.
I've been there for the good times, and unfortunately, I've been there when you've copped some losses. But Dave's me mate, so I'm gonna continue to talk to him regardless. Jamie Sheldon's in the chat. We haven't heard from Jamie.
Hey, Jamie, how you doing? Good to see you.
When are you coming back, Jamie? We need that in there. Adam Medium Wrestling is in there, and he says, Dave, he's up and about. Doretto says the champ does what he wants. Travis is up and about. He says, the champ, what's up, you legends? It's all going on. What's going on, you dead set legends? Just want to make sure I said hi to everyone, including Chubba Knuckles. Have I said hi to everyone? I reckon I might have. Alex McDonald's in the chat. The Drew 24, they're all in there. Right. Yeah, I'm really pleased that he won. He deserves it, man. Look, for
Thank
me,
you. I appreciate it.
It's a great saying, but I don't know. In sports, I'm not a big fan of the word of he deserves it. I'm more whoever's stronger on the team. You know what I mean? Like, you love baseball, Dave, and someone can have a really good camp, but if the team doesn't win the last game of the season, that just because they're nice people or worker, they deserve a pennant. They deserve to win the World Series. No, the team that wins is the best team. They get the
absolutely.
They get it in there. Right, let's get to the match. Were you absolutely pumped and excited when you were first offered a world title match?
Absolutely, because this goes back to probably the end of actually last year. When Engen was still in control of the company, I mentioned to him that I was thinking about dropping down to 115, and he said he thought it was a good idea. But I waited. I did a couple more matches, and then after the Georgie match in the end of March this year, or beginning of April, I can't remember, but. I mentioned to him, I said, I think it's time. I'd like to drop down to 115. I told him, I said, listen, I'll gladly start from the bottom up. I don't care. I'll work my way up the ladder. That's fine with me. And then, a couple months later, I think it was maybe May, the end of May, he offered me a title match. And I was like, I'm not going to turn that down. Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Sure. Against Sagov. I was like, sure, I can't turn that down. So, with all the turmoil going on with the company and stuff like that, there was supposed to be that event in Baku, Azerbaijan, in August. So originally the match was supposed to take place in August, but all the stuff was going on, and it ended up getting canceled. So I had spoken to Robert. I said, hey, it was kind of up in the air at the time when I was talking to Robert about this. I was like, hey, if the Baku match doesn't happen, I said, can I get a match in Colorado? Because I've been really, I've been working hard. I'm already at weight. I'm 250, I was 252 or something like that at the time. I was at weight. I was training, motivated, getting ready for a match. I was like, can I, would it be cool if I got a match in Colorado if it doesn't, if the match with Sagov doesn't, come through in Azerbaijan? He's like, yeah, absolutely. So that's when the Toddzilla match came about. He's like, what do you think about Toddzilla? I said, that sounds like a match people would want to see. Toddzilla, this high pressure versus side pressure type thing. That absolutely. So that ended up being, if I want the winner of the match, basically would get a shot at, Sagov, for whenever the next event was. So I ended up beating Todd, and then I got the match with Sagov, for November 1st. So I've been literally training for Sagov since May. So it's
Wow.
6 months, 100%, had him in my head, training for him 100%, ready to go. So it wasn't just like, last minute thing, couple months. It's a long time. I've had him on my radar, and I was ready. I was confident going in 100%, not to sound, like that guy, but I wasn't going to lose. There was no way in my mind. I just kept going through my head 100%. I said, losing is not an option, and it wasn't.
Oh, mate, we'll get to the match in the moment because, everyone that was watching the live commentary, I may have lost my shit when you had won. That is for sure. But we'll get to that. I'll tell you one thing I thoroughly have enjoyed is, whether you realize it or not, Dave, you may have changed the game for some super heavyweights. And what I mean by that is a lot of people, it's your standard 6-7 kilo, 15, 16, 17 pound water cut, rehydrate, go in and pull a lower division. But you've done it through training and dieting and kind of just waltzed around at your 115 kilos. So now I wonder if super heavyweights that are going to come down, I wonder if they're going to do the Dave Chaffee method.
I don't know. I mean, certain things work for certain people. When I was younger and I was pulling at 110 kilos, I would do the water cut, 15, 18 pounds, the day before the match, and I would replenish, and I would be, 15, 18 pounds above the weight. But I'm going to be 49 years old in like 2 months. So to me, for health reasons and stuff like that, it just seemed more logical for me to get down to this weight, and I can walk around at a healthy, 250. Because I weighed in for both last two matches, like 249 and some change,
Like
basically. So I was 5 pounds underweight for both weigh-ins. So, and I feel great, like mentally, physically, like health-wise. It was the best move I could have possibly made.
Oh, you look shit hot. I've got a massive arm wrestling crush on you. Like, I think during the match, I was like taking my wedding ring off. I'm like 49, and you look younger than me, and I'm about to turn 41. So you look phenomenal. So which one do you prefer then? Do you prefer the water cut and go down, or do you prefer this new leaner, lighter, maybe sometimes can't have third helpings of dinner, Dave?
It's tough because dieting, like I got used to it. It took a little bit because I was eating horribly for probably, 10, 15, 12, 13 years, a long time since I actually wasn't a super heavyweight. So to actually start eating, healthier, it was a little bit of a challenge for me. But once you start getting in that mode, like it's just kind of like I'm like a robot basically. I go through the motions, and I mean I'm not like a super hardcore dieter. Like I just changed a few things. I stopped eating like the sugar cereal and started eating oatmeal instead. I had a lot of chicken, a lot more protein I added, which I should have been doing the whole time. Like when I was really young into bodybuilding, I used to do that, but I kind of got away from it on the nutrition side. But you don't realize how, I think it has a lot to do with a lot of different things, and strength and cardio and all that stuff. So I just changed that. I started eating some more chicken breast, a lot more chicken breast, a few times a day with, like a baked potato and stuff like that. Just basic type things, and a couple protein shakes. And I feel a lot better. Maybe if I was younger, I would, consider doing like a water cut, because I'm sure it helps if you come in 15 pounds heavier. If you can handle it, obviously it's going to give you an advantage because you're bigger, might be a little stronger. But for me, I'm happy. I'm happy doing it this way. It's for a 40, if I'm going to be 49 years old, it's the smart thing to do for me.
Well, whatever you're doing, you keep doing it, because you are the 115 kilo world champion. And of course, I have a big booming smile every time I get to say it now. One thing not to break the fourth wall with everyone watching, but I've been very fortunate enough to meet your beautiful wife, Amber. She is the epitome of a Dead Set legend. So when
She's
you were
awesome.
when you were dieting and doing that, I thought Amber is the perfect person because she's not going to put up with any of your shit. Like when you would whinge that you're hungry, some wives would be like, oh, it's okay. Okay, eat. Okay, have your third helping, Dave, and we could just do a water cut. I could see Amber like hitting you on the nose. No, Dave. Stop it. Shush. I'm going to have the sugary cereal. You can watch me eat it and learn properly. So, what a person to have in your corner.
Yeah, by far the best person I could ever ask for. But I mean, I love her to death. She's awesome. She always has my back, and she's great for me, 100%.
She's an absolute rock star. Absolute rock star. And Benji Max up at about. He says, "Let's go, Dave. Knew you could do it, brother." Guys,
yes, you did. He's another one that had my back the whole way. Benji did. He did. He's another one.
He seems like a ripper dude, Benji.
Yeah, he is.
It's going to be good. Guys, just wait until a little bit later and I'll answer some of your questions. And Kevin is up and about. Kevin, because it's Christmas season. We've got to do that whenever Kevin comments. Right, the match. Round one. A lot of us, if you were watching me, Dave, do my commentary, I would have looked like a cartoon. After round one, my heart would have come out and you would have seen it shatter in little pieces and the flying dustpan and saucer, sweep it up. First off, what happened in round one and how did Sagov get the better of you?
Round one, the first time we had the ready go, I got to where I wanted to be, and I was in good position. But he hit hard, and he knocked my elbow off the pad. But he called a foul. But after that, I felt him. I knew if I got where I wanted to be, which was my game plan, I could beat him. But the second start, he's fast, and I didn't get to where I wanted to be. And he got me as he was just super fast and he's strong. Once he gets in that press, I knew if he got me there, I wasn't going to come back. And he hit me hard, and I'm old. I felt a little cracking in there. I'm like, okay, I'm just all right. I'm not gonna let this happen again. So, but after that, I changed a couple things. Changed my grip a little bit. Didn't cap my thumb. And yeah, honestly, Reno was an awesome guy to have in my corner. He had pulled him before. He knew some things. He's like, do this, do that, and he was really, really a huge help for me in the match.
Well, how did that partnership come across? Because we were watching them, we're like, whoa, here we go. Yeah. Reno's in Dave's corner.
I had talked to Reno a couple of weeks before, just talking about some stuff. And then like about a week before, I was like, hey, would you be in? Because he told me he was going to be at the event. I said, hey, it'd be really cool. Would you ever be interested in, being my corner? I said, my wife's always my corner person, but we usually can have two. Would you be interested? He's like, yeah, absolutely. Definitely. So that's basically how that happened. I knew he knew Sagov. He's the last guy to beat him. So I thought it was a pretty smart move to have him in my corner.
Like I know it's all like everything's all happening at once in the moment, but was there one piece of advice from Reno that you took on, and then because you end up winning the next 4 rounds, and then you just thought, oh, we're on here?
Yeah, there's definitely one thing, but in case there's a rematch, I'm going to keep that to myself. So
smart man. No, that is brilliant. So, I mean, you were mentioning earlier that the confidence was there. You were never gonna lose the match. You're feeling good, feeling strong. When you got the pin in round 2, was that it? You were like, right, I found the sweet spot, because that's what it looked like for us at home.
That's exactly what happened. Like my whole game plan started to come through. Like I said, I knew if I could get him to where I want to be, I needed to be fast. And I worked for the last 6 months on my speed. I'm not fast at all, but I worked quite a bit on hitting and trying to get to position to where I needed to be. So if I figured if I could get there or even stop him in the middle before he got on top of me and get him away from his press, then I was pretty sure that my game plan was gonna be 100%, successful. And it was, I got him, and I got him in the hook or where I wanted to be on the side, and the drag, and that was it. Like, I felt confident. I was so fired up after that first win in round two. I was pumped and ready to go. Probably had to calm myself down a little bit because I wanted to, start breathing heavy and stuff, but I was fired up.
Well, I was worried. Look, lately, don't attack me, Dave, but lately endurance probably hasn't been your strong point.
Mhm.
Hey, whoa. So when you were getting those pins, and it's hard. You can't control your emotions sometimes, and you're giving it the big roar. Subconsciously, in my mind, I'm thinking, "Shut up, Dave. Shush. Go back to your corner. Have some water." Because I just thought,
Yeah.
"Oh no." But then you came and dominated. Now, during the match, Reno used his review. Was that right?
Yeah, we thought that he had false start a little bit on the it was the first match. Are you talking about for me or for Sagov?
For Sagov, did he use his review during the match, or did he
He
save it for the last round?
No, he did. He had already used his protest and it was denied, so he didn't have a protest at the end. So, but after I won, I'm thinking I'm pretty sure he can't protest this. I'm pretty sure I won, but I don't want to celebrate too early. So I was like, all right, well, I kind of think I won, but we'll just wait a second.
Did
So
you get an explanation at all? Yeah, because we were on one hand, I'm trying to celebrate that you've just won the world title, but
yeah.
then I'm like, why are they all surrounding it? Sagov's used his thing. He didn't win, so he's lost his protest. So why were they reviewing?
I'm not really sure. I was just sitting there waiting to hear what happened. It was something about not starting in the center or something like that. But whatever. I like I said, he could. It's his choice to protest. He was emotional. I understand. It was a huge title match, so I don't blame him for trying to get another protest in.
Oh yeah, mine's not with Sagov. Mine's with the referees. I was just getting a bit confused, but I guess they just wanted to make sure when they're crowning a new
Yeah,
champion, they wanted to get it right
yeah.
and get it done there. So you've become world champion. Was it straight to bed? Did you go and celebrate it all, or were you
No,
just like, I'm
you,
knackered, Amber, you're on the couch, the title's in the bed with me?
I would never do that.
I
But
know, I know.
we went upstairs. There were some people in the lobby. We hung out for a little bit. We went upstairs and was like, "Do you want to go back down? You just won the title. You want to celebrate?" I'm like, I'm kind of tired, but I thought about it for a couple minutes. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get a quick shower. Let's go down and hang out. And because I'm not usually the biggest social guy in the world, but I can be if I want to.
Yeah.
And we went down and started hanging out, and Jerry Caderet and his wife, their flight was leaving at like 6 a.m. This is probably like at 2 a.m. or something, or 1 a.m. I can't remember what time it was, but they were leaving in like a few hours. And they're like, "Hey, we got a couple bottles of wine. We can't take it with us. Do you guys want it?" And we're like, "Well, I'm not going to turn that down." So, like, okay. And I don't drink. I don't really drink wine very often. And honestly, after the first glass, I was feeling pretty pretty darn good.
Wow. And we're going to start calling you Easy Drunk, Dave
No,
Chaffee, from now
definitely,
on.
definitely. I can't drink like I used to. That's for sure.
No, it's probably a good thing as well.
Yeah,
That's really. Do you get to take the belt home?
yeah. I brought it home with you. You can't. I think you got to win 3 times to actually keep it. So I have to keep bringing it back until I win 3 times. But of course, you put it in my carry-on. Of course, the people in the Swiss airport wanted to take a look at it, so I had to open up my bag and go through all my stuff, and then, which is cool. But I'm trying to get your stuff back in the bag. It's jam packed, filled, and stuff like that. It's like I'm trying to not break the belt, and this is kind of a pain, but it's all right.
And speaking of the one and only, she's a rock star.
Oh, there she is.
There she is, just enjoying the show. Enjoying the show. Now, I don't know if it's a mark of respect or I'm not too sure, but ever since you have won the 115 kilo title, suddenly you're like the host of The Biggest Loser. Everyone's looking to drop weight. Everyone is looking to come down.
Yeah.
Michael Todd and Erdemez, Gasparini have been vocal about it. There's nothing wrong with that. Would you rather take on someone constantly in the 115 kilos, or would you love a couple of super heavyweights to come down and you can show everyone who the king of the jungle is?
Well, here's the deal. How I'm feeling about the whole situation. One of the main reasons I dropped down the 115 was to pull a whole different group of guys, a new motivation, excited about all these new people. So there's a few guys that have been at the top of that division that I feel deserve a shot first. And I've talked about it. I've told them that's how I feel. If they want to drop down, that's fine. But I think that there's a few other guys that deserve a shot at the title first. That's just my opinion. Now they earn their way. I got no problem. I'll pull those guys 100%. But I just feel there's other guys right at the moment that deserve the shot first.
Now, I know it's very early. I mean, it's been like a week and a half since you've won the title. Now, are you able to say yes or no to opponents, or does Robert say, hey, we want you ready by April to defend your title. We'll let you know ASAP who it is. Do you have any input on your first title defense?
No, Robert's been awesome, actually. I've talked to him a couple of times, and we've discussed a few different things. I told him the same thing I just told you, basically. That's the reason why I dropped down. And he's like, yeah, that's I agree. That's absolutely cool. And let me know how you feel, because he originally had asked me a while back, if by chance if you win the title in Switzerland, would you be willing to defend it in Atlantic City? It's like 6 weeks later. And I told him, I said, it depends. I said, I don't know. I said, that's pretty quick. Because I'm getting old, and I didn't know how the match was going to go. Like, my elbow gets beat up. I said, if I felt okay, I would have no problem with it, but I can't really make a decision before the match. I said, if I'm lucky enough to win, then we can definitely discuss it and see what happens if I feel okay. And I've talked to him since then, and there was discussion. But my next match is probably going to be the end of February.
Wow. So, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a little bit longer. That's fantastic. So we don't have to wait long before Dave Chaffee Esquire Jr. III defends his title. Now, I don't want you to tell us like the names or anything that have been floated around, but because you wanted to pull a fresh new lot of pullers, is there someone that looks exciting to you where you're like, their style against my style, we can have a match of the night? Is there is there any names floating around?
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Absolutely.
No,
yeah, like there's a few guys that have been at the top of that division for quite a while. One, Ivan Matushenko, 100%. Like I would love to pull him. Power inside, he's awesome. He's been at the top of that division for quite a while. When Reno comes back from his injury, he 100% deserves a shot. Dadikin, when he drops down to that weight, I would love to pull him. I know he was ranked 2 or 3, but those 3 guys right there, I would say, are the top guys I would love to pull in the 115.
Ah, brilliant. And is the diet going way that will see you to drop the 105?
Oh, I've had a couple of people say that to me. A couple of people ask me that, but I'm happy right now. That seems a little too low. I mean, never say never. You never know. It'll be cool, like, to hold 2 titles, but I'm very happy right now. I'm grateful that I won this title. I don't even want to think about anything like that.
No, it's funny how we're just quick to, as sports fans, not just arm wrestling, but as sports fans, it's like, what's next? Do this, do that. It's like, Dave, congratulations, you just won the 115. What about the 105? What about the 105? Give us your 3 things. What about this one? How about you go there? Are you going back to super heavyweight? It's just like, hang on, just let the man enjoy Switzerland. Let him bloody, you have to go to work today, everyone. So yeah, I remember running across Australia. I'm 900 kilometers into my 1,500 kilometer run, and people started asking, "Well, what's the next run?" It's like, well, hang on,
not even finished yet.
Finish this run. Now, speaking of everyone watching, I'm not sure if you've seen, but I started a fantasy tournament to take on Dave Chaffee. Winner gets a shot. It is voted by you, and I thought it was a bit of fun. So I'll just give you a bit of an update of where we're at. Our semi-finalists are here to go. So I had Reno, Matyashenko, you can see them all there. Sagov, Muratov, Zonev, and the works. Monster Michael Todd just recently won the vote. So we're down to the semi-finals there. Got a bit heated on Instagram, Davo. Okay, let's not say heated because I didn't feel any proper heat from you or Michael Todd. It got a bit chatty, we'll say. Got a bit chatty.
Well, I mean, it just you posted that thing as a fun little thing, and he decided to post it. He's a number one contender. I was just curious of what rankings he was a number one contender, and that's all. It's the last ones I seen. It was those guys that I had mentioned that I wanted to pull ahead of him. And like I said, I have no problem pulling him down the road, but I feel there's other guys that are ranked higher that deserve the title shot.
Yeah, it was. Go to my Instagram, everyone, and you can see them all having a bit of fun, a bit of a chat there. And Michael's got a match in December, so we'll find out there. Out of the four that are left in it, Dave, we've got Matyashenko, Gasparini's, Muratov, and Monster Michael Todd. Would you hope Matyashenko wins this tournament?
Well, of course I would, but I feel the favorite would probably be Hermes if he, in real life, say he can cut down to 115, not lose any strength. I feel he would be the favorite to win that tournament, out of those 8 guys and the 4 that are left. But Matyashenko, I wouldn't, count him out of anything. If he gets you in that hook, he's tough, he's fast, he's very fast. So anything can happen.
Anything can bloody happen. If you're here, guys, get a couple of questions here. We'll probably go for about another 10 or so minutes with the great man, Easy Money Dave Chaffee. More importantly, world champion Dave Chaffee. What does that sound like, mate? Because at this stage right now, regardless of opinion, regardless of what ifs, there is no one better than you at 115 kilos. You are the champion. It's like we said about 10-15 years since the last time this happened. How does that sound and feel in the ears?
It sounds pretty freaking awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I'm grateful. Like I said, I'm grateful to still be able to do this. That for the injuries I've had and gone through. It's been a struggle the last couple of years, and to be able to change weights, keep my strength, and deal with the injuries. Like you said, there's been a couple of times I just, you start to doubt yourself and feel like maybe it's time. Maybe I've done this long enough. I've been doing this for 20 years, but you keep pushing, you keep plugging away, and you never know what can happen. Like it's just dedication, hard work, and drive, and no quit. And look at me now, you just never know.
Mate, absolutely. Now, I'm not the one to offer marriage advice, Dave, but I reckon you at least get a 3-week pass where everyone in your household must address you as world champion or world champ. So if you're sitting there and you're having dinner and it's like, Dave, darling, can you pass me the salt? I would be ignoring it and I would be waiting. World champion, can I please have the salt? Absolutely, love. There you are. There's the salt there. No, it's it is brilliant, guys. Get some if you have some particular questions, get them in there. I think one of the big questions, Dave, and unfortunately it's not about you, but everyone wants to know about the secret practice between Devin and Levan, or Devin and Hermes, or Hermes and Levan. Did you see any of it? Did you see it happen?
I was enjoying beautiful Switzerland with my beautiful wife before and after I won the title. So I didn't see anything. I don't know what happened. I was just happy to be overseas and just enjoying myself. The scenery was incredible over there, just absolutely beautiful. The mountains, pictures don't do it any justice whatsoever. Like you just sit there and look at the mountains. You're like it's incredible. Like I'm actually here. Like you didn't know these things you don't even know they exist, and you're just like, wow, I'm so lucky to be here.
It looked incredible. It looked from the pictures that you posted. I was having a bit of a gawk. Yeah, it looks incredible. A question here from my man Royman says, "Is your neck still feeling good, Dave?"
It's been stable. Like I've said a couple of times in different interviews, like if I'm sitting here, I'm okay. If I move it back into the left, it just shoots pain down my shoulder blade back here actually. So I do my best, even when I'm pulling, I can just stabilize it and not deal with the pain. Sometimes I hit a nerve and it's like, oh wow, shoot down your arm, and it's just. But for the most part, right now I'm okay. Knock on wood. Hopefully it's stabilized and there's no worse damage is done, and I can just continue to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, beautiful. Did you have a neck fusion?
No, I'm sure I'll probably eventually need one in the future. I've had like 3 different shots in my neck over the years. The first one worked for a couple of years. The second one worked for a year. The third one, it just stopped working. Years and years of chiropractic stuff, and I got 3 different shots of stem cells in it, and it really it didn't help my neck. Helped my elbow tremendously, but it didn't help my neck. And actually, I got in we had spoke earlier about my hand being messed up from Vitaly, and I got stem cells, and that seemed to heal up my hand somehow too. So they did work, but just not for my neck, unfortunately.
Yeah, right. No, and we'll get to some of your questions soon. I see that they're starting to come in now, which is great. Just want to talk about the event itself, mate. You mentioned earlier that Sagov match was postponed because of all the commotion that was going on. It just Switzerland looked fun. Everyone there just looked like they were getting along. They were relaxed. You looked more relaxed. I mean, you looked focused at the press conference. I even made a comment about it. I was like, you were staunch. You were
I was
on.
ready.
A lot of the behind the scenes stuff, it just seemed very merry. I don't know if the country of Switzerland was bringing it out of everyone, but everyone just looked great.
It was very, very laid back. Everybody was getting along. There wasn't any drama. People joke around and poke fun at each other and have a good time. Before and after the event. So it was. I don't know if it's just the scenery or most arm wrestlers are good good guys. We all get along for the most. But of course, sometimes there's drama and whatnot. But that's going to happen in any sport. But and then when you get to the venue, there was a packed house. It was electric. The energy was incredible there. Like it was just, and they had a good setup for us too. There's a big green room with all kinds of food you could eat. So I had about 6, 7 bananas. I like to get those bananas in. I'm like part gorilla, so I got to eat my bananas and stuff like that. So yeah, but it was overall the event was incredible. Robert Dexter, those guys do an incredible job. Everybody involved, with the event in the Swiss Open, and there's just so many people there. Just it was awesome all around.
Looked good. Looked real good from where I was. Great question here, and I've got a follow-up question for it. Dave, who do you think deserved match of the night at the last East versus West event?
Probably Mask and Kalichenko.
You reckon?
Definitely.
I reckon so. Yoshi Kanai and Petro Maharan.
Yeah, that's true, but I feel like Yoshi wasn't in control most of. I guess Mal was kind of in control for most of it, but I feel like Yoshi was in control. He gets in that King's move, he just wears you out. So that's just the way I looked at it. But it could have gone either way. You're right though. You're right though. It was good.
And are you a big fan of match of the night bonuses and things like that? Like that little sprinkle of spice?
Absolutely. How can you not be a fan of the match? And I'll take any little bit. That's awesome for them to do. Much appreciated for Robert Dexter for doing that. That's awesome.
They need because they now own King of the Table. They need a back pay you for your first match with Vitaly, I reckon. Because not only was it bloody match of the night, it was the match. It was the best match of all time. Right. What other question is there? Have we got Team Easy Money on top where he belongs?
Thank you. Feels good.
McCormick and things like that.
Hey, William. How you doing, William? I know William. Awesome dude.
Oh, yeah. You know Big Willie?
He's he's a big arm wrestling fan, big into the baseball cards. With my wife, awesome, just a real awesome guy.
There you go. Quick question here, Dave. Can you teach Irakli how to win against Todd Hutchings?
I don't think anybody can teach Irakli to beat Todd. I mean, Todd is so dominant against him. He looked better this time than he did the first 2 times. Like he's incredible. He's gonna be 60 years old. It's like I don't even know what to say. The man gets better and stronger as he gets older. It's insane.
Mate, it's and for those watching now, 11 a.m. Eastern time, Thursday, Toddzilla will be on the show having a chat. Right, a couple of more questions, guys, and then we'll wrap up. Just from Doretto, he says, I hope Dave stays the champ. He brought life back into the 115 kilo division. This is the most it is being talked about in years.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully they continue to talk about it for many more years.
Yeah, it is great. How often, because all the champs in all the different divisions don't compete the same. You get one, maybe twice a year with Levan. What do you think a champion, no injuries, enough prep time, how many times a year do you think they should defend their title?
3 is good. I think 3 is a good number. Maybe 4 if you feel good. I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm maybe for younger you can recover better. It's different for different people, but I think for optimal, just a few months these in between each match just to rest a little bit and then prepare for the next guy. But for me, I had Todd in between, but I knew, like we said before, I knew I was pulling Sagov for 6 months. So I had so much time to prepare for him that I think that made a huge difference. I really do. The more time I think you had to prepare for somebody, obviously the more ready you're going to be. So
what's a perfect block for you? If you could pick the date to defend your first title, don't worry about bookings and venues and things like that, but what would be the ultimate perfect block for you? Rest, recover, trading, match.
Probably 3 to 4 months from now, like 4 months, maybe even 4 or 5 months for my age. But I'm happy to pull a little bit earlier, depending on how I feel. But I think optimal wise, if you have a few months, like time to come home, rest a little bit, which I don't do. I'm going to be honest with you. We got home Tuesday night here at 10 p.m. and I was out in my garage at 9 a.m. training Wednesday morning. So
wow. Yeah, you're the champ now, mate. You've got the biggest, arguably one of the biggest targets on your back now, because, and I mean that respectfully, but because your super heavyweight record hadn't been great the last couple of years, people think, oh, well, Dave's gone down to 115. I reckon I've got a really good chance against that. That's why, I feel like it's the Michael Jackson Thriller bloody film clip. Everyone just coming out of nowhere. Suddenly all these people are like, oh, I can pull 115.
That's all right. It makes for some interesting matches. And some people, they can cut down to 115, no problem. And some people can't. Look at what happened to Gennady when he dropped down against Sagov. You just don't know. So, and I feel great at this weight. So, eventually I'll take on whoever, earn your shot. But like I said, I want to pull, the guys that have been there. I dropped down to 115 for a reason, to pull new guys, new motivation. And it's like I breathe new life right now. I feel it's different. I just feel really good.
Different. Yeah. You look elated. You look fantastic.
Thank
and
you.
it gets it in there. Just a random question, but I don't mind it. Which previous loss does Dave like to avenge the most at 115? So if there was a super heavyweight loss, and he said, right, come down to my turf now.
There's no real people I want to avenge. Like I pulled some of these guys numerous times over the years. I'm looking for new guys to pull, like guys I've never pulled before. I mean, that's my main interest, is just to get different people on the table and beat new guys. That's what I want to do first. But like I said, if down the road, guys want to drop down, that's not a problem either. I'd love to pull these other guys first.
But you did mention I remember it. I think we bring it up every time. You did mention that you could make 115 relatively easy, like when there was talks about you and Ongabayev back in the day. I remember we were there at King of the Table in the pool. And
Yeah, I forgot about that. You're right.
Back
Yeah.
then, I was like, oh, I like this. I like this.
And honestly, in hindsight, I probably should have done this a couple years ago, but I'm here now, so it's all good.
And you got to get that payday and everything. Guys, can you please in the chat thank the one and only world champion, Dave Chaffee. It is for someone that grew up watching ESPN and watching Dave in the WAL as a fan to now be talking to him as a world champion. It is brilliant. Don't forget, 11 a.m. Eastern on Thursday. We'll have Toddzilla sit there and he can tell everyone how strong Dave Chaffee is and how easy it is to beat Irakli. Dave, as always, mate, thank you so much for joining the show.
Well, thank you. Like you were telling these guys to thank me, but I want to thank all these guys, all my fans for having my back, showing up. I appreciate all you guys. If it wasn't for you, wouldn't have what's going on right now, East versus West. So thank you.
Beautiful.